Good morning and welcome. My name is Shoshana, and I want to talk about meaning, how everything in life, everything that comes into your existence, everything that comes into your life has potential meaning. And I've heard before, not everything has meaning. Some things don't have to have meaning. And this can also be true because meaning is perceptual. So everything in the universe is cause and effect. And the meaning that you understand from it is your perception of it. That means that we apply the meaning. Everything is just happening and constantly unfolding. And the meaning is something that we apply, and it's very, very individual. So one thing can happen, and 10 different people can perceive it and put different meaning on it. But everything that shows up in your life has showed up in your life for a reason, and the reason is because of something in your behavior, which is caused by your perspective. So every single thing that shows up in your life has potential meaning to it and keys to understanding and to setting yourself free. So you can go through life without putting meaning on anything or being oblivious to 99% of what shows up in your life and not putting meaning on it. And then only when there is something very extreme, then you say, okay, this happened because of this, which happened because my mindset is here. But every single thing, even to the very smallest, minuscule things that show up in your life have potential keys and have showed up in your life because of your perspective, your mindset, because it could not show up in your life if you were not in whatever mindset that you are in, right? So let's say somebody that is living in the street and something shows up in their life, right? It could, whatever showed up in their life, being in the mindset that they are and um, circumstances that they are, could those specific circumstances could not show up in a millionaire's life in the same way and would not have the same meaning. So the meaning is always relevant to who you are, where you are in your life, and your perception of things and your perspective, right? Because your perception is very dependent on your perspective and your belief system. So, absolutely, every single thing that shows up in your life has meaning. It has a reason why it showed up, and it can mirror back to you, reflect back to you your perspective. So, you can shut that off and say, okay, not everything that showed up has meaning. So I'm just going to ignore 99% of the things that show up in my life. And what you are doing is you are like putting the brakes on your spiritual path or your spiritual opening or your expansion. Because when you become completely aware and you come into the moment and you start watching everything, and everything has potential for meaning, or everything absolutely has meaning to it and a reason why it was even able to show up in your life, and you are searching out that meaning, or at least open to uh, understanding that this came into my life for a reason. What is it that I am doing, or what is the belief that I have in place, the perspective that has allowed this thing to show up in my life, especially if it's something that we dislike in our life, or especially if it's something that we really like in our life. Because the more that we become aware and the more that we are able to understand that every single thing that shows up in our life has purpose, has meaning, has showed up for a reason, and has higher meaning. I mean, a higher interpretation. So everything that shows up in our life has a higher interpretation to it. If we get let go from our job, or if we get into some kind of uh, argument with somebody, or a misunderstanding, or if we seem to be confused a lot, or people put us under their thumb and try to control us. All of these things happen. All of these things are telltale signs of whatever is going on inwardly, right? Because if I was, let's say, if I constantly get into situations where I don't speak my truth, and I get overridden, or um, forced into situations, or what feels like forced into situations that I don't want to be in, or confused. There is something in myself, a belief that is in place, a perspective. That means a belief creates behaviors that allows for this to show up again and again in my life. So it could not be different. So anything that happens in my life, I can take as, why did this happen? What in me allowed for this to show up in my life? Whether it is on levels of things of enjoyment, or things that I don't enjoy, or even just parv things that are just kind of, okay, my life is hum-ha. Why is my life hum-ha? Why? Because I don't take chances. Maybe because I'm afraid of change. Maybe because what I put my most importance on is security. So I don't create movement in my life because I am in fear of contradiction, or contrast, or conflict. So I never move the waters, and I just constantly keep in line. So there's always a reason. And the more that you can understand the reasoning, the more malleable you become, and the more you become in control of your life, and the more coherency and the more clarity you have on why things are showing up in your life. So when you become completely aware, not only does it bring you into the now, which when you are in the now, you are living your life. You're not living beside your life. You're not running along behind your life. You're not looking in the past. You're not fearing the future or looking into the future. You are present. And that presence has a presence to it. That presence has power to it. That presence is felt, and it has an echo to it. It has a wave to it, and it is magnetic. So when something is on and it's right in so many different ways. Because when you become present, you are also living your life to the fullest. You are also become magnetic and become an example. You also become aware of everything around you. Your life becomes that much broader. You are living your life. You have clarity. You are paying attention, and you are doing things with pure intention. And so when you can start seeing that everything has meaning, and it doesn't have to. Sometimes we just let ourselves off the hook and say, okay, I'm not searching for meaning right now. Right now, it's like it has a volume knob to it. You can turn it up and turn it down to your pleasure, right? Because sometimes we have already intaken so much that we just have to chew on what we've already intaken. We have to process what it is that we have. Sometimes we go through life for a few months of total openness, and life's coming at you, and you're taking all the lessons, and everything has the meaning. And then when you feel like you full to the brim, you have to take some kind of pause to process what you have already intaken. Then it's okay to say, okay, then I'm taking a break. But when you do this out of choice and not out of blindness or fear, or just being on the automatic set mode, or living in fear of the future, oh no, the future, and then you're not actually ever present in your own life. And then after a long time, when you look back on your life, it's almost like you didn't even live your life. It was like you're living beside your life, or in a parallel. You can look at yourself like you're separate from yourself. So what we're doing is we are coming back into alignment. We're aligning ourselves completely, taking the bull by the horns, our own life bull, yeah? Taking responsibility. And there's so many different ways to come at this. It's like a chipping machine. You have to tap at it from all these different ways. So we're doing the internal work, we're doing energetic work, we're doing emotional work, we're becoming present, where we are meditating, We are becoming aware. We are searching out, right? Because once you're on the spiritual path, there is no turning back. So it's either take it full force as much as you can, and when you can't, and when you need a breather, close your eyes, take a minute, go inward and process. And you'll notice also when I do these videos, a lot of times there'll be like I won't upload for a while. And the only reason is because I myself am going into going into my own processing. And then when I come out so much stronger and with everything that I've processed now in my tool belt, and understanding, and a higher understanding and more clarity every single time, because this is a constant expansion. We are expanding. We are always learning more. There's infinite knowledge. And when you break down all the superficial levels and you come back to your pure alignment, internal alignment, right? You align your body, soul, your beliefs, your emotions, and you write it by God, write it by the universe, write it by cause and effect. Then you become aligned with your surroundings. Not only do you become aligned with yourself, you become aligned with God, with your surroundings. Your truth becomes so powerful that you cannot move from it. It would be like going against your own self, and it would be like going against cause and effect. It would be like living a lie. But once you become aware of it, because many of us are living lies in many places, and it comes from not even from knowing, because during the spiritual awakening, again and again and again, our eyes are opened again and again and again and again. And the more our eyes are opened, we go through ego death, and then we come out that much stronger and with that much more clarity and that much more love and that much more power. And power doesn't mean force. Power means just standing strong in your knowing, and you cannot be moved from that. And there is no, when you become that powerful, there is no purpose in proving your point. If there is a point in it, then you will express yourself. But if there is no point, you have no purpose of just, because the purpose of having to prove your point is, it comes from a place of ego. Look at me, my self-importance. And there is self-importance because we are all divine. It's kind of paradoxical, right? Because we are divine. We are all self-important. We are as important as every other speck of anything in existence. We are of God essence. We are God. And we are parts of God. We are God experiencing God. And so knowing our own power also allows us to release that need to prove ourselves, or to we don't need to prove ourselves in front of any other human being, because we give that to ourselves. We know our own divinity, and we know what we are made of and what we are worth. And so everything has purpose and meaning, and could not show up in your life had it not been in complete vibrational match with you. So if you have things that are showing up in your life that you don't like, check your vibration, check where your belief system is, check where your perspective is, because it could not show up in your life had you not made the bed for it in which to lay, right? It just couldn't. And a lot of the things are very, they are beyond us as well. There'll be things like we all of a sudden go through a death or a circumstance that we feel is beyond us. And all of these things have come to teach us and have come to serve a purpose. There is nothing there is no gap in the universe. So there is nothing that can show up that doesn't have place and is not there for our higher good and serving as a mirror to us. So we can either push against it. We can say, oh, I don't want that in my life, and I'm not even going to look at it or give it place, and it has no meaning. It just showed up randomly. And then I'm not going to look at it. And there's pain, first of all, in that holding yourself apart, because you're trying to rip a gap between what showed up in your life and you, but there is no gap, so you have to hold it. So it's kind of like you're ripping your own self apart and not looking at the bull in the eyes as you take it by the horns. to see what it's trying to tell you, or to see why this showed up in my life, or what does this mean, or what can I learn from this, or how can I react to this that is in acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean you have to like it. Acceptance doesn't mean that you have to say, okay, stay in my life. You can accept something came into your life and take the purpose and meaning from it, and then say, okay, now that I know what it is, and now that I know what I'm dealing with, I don't want this in my life. Thank you for serving the purpose that you have served, and you can relinquish it from your life. And in that, you come into a place of sifting what yes, what no, what yes, what no. But you have to know. You have to know. You can't hide your head in the sand. So everything that shows up in your life has a higher purpose and meaning if you allow yourself to interpret it, and if you allow yourself to look, because it is reflecting back to you parts of yourself. It is reflecting back, and it could not have showed up in your life. Does it not serve a purpose? Could not. It could not, would not. It simply could not. And so you can use this to your advantage to advance yourself on your personal journey, or you can ignore it, and you can it's kind of like idling in place in your life, right? Only when something very extreme comes in that you're forced to deal with, then you deal with it and you jump a little bit further and accelerate your life. Or every single moment you're coming into the now, you're becoming aware. Why is this in my life? Why is this in my life? What is it come to serve me? What can I learn from this? How can I strengthen myself? How can I become more aligned from this? So I am sending you guys so much love. Thank you for being here. I feel like this is a very powerful point. I kind of went all over the place, but if you if you're with me till now, then you see the value in it. And I am sending you guys so much love. And if you would like to schedule a one-on-one with me to kind of look over and see what you're going through and kind of get a bird's eye perspective and a different way of looking at it, then my contact information is in my website below. I do one-on-one sessions or meetings. So thank you so much.